Good morning, folks. Ann here. Welcome to my channel. It's Wednesday morning. I think it's June 4th. Welcome to all of you and all of you new subscribers. I'm just loving it. Every so often I'm looking at my subs and they're growing. Thank you so much. I'm at a rail trail. It's the same rail trail I was on the other day, but it's a different section. It's almost into another town, and this is where I'm walking. Nice and peaceful up here. So, folks, today I want to talk about the top 10 lies that we've been told about food and health. You know, we've been misinformed for decades. And we know that maybe that's the way they had to feed the masses. You know, some of it might be that. I don't know why it had to include all the poisonous chemicals and everything. I don't understand that part. But you know, the first lie that they told us is that fat will kill us. They said, don't eat fat. Eat very little of it. And that was the biggest thing we did wrong, I think, because we weren't feeding our bodies the fuel that it needed. You know, our bodies need that fat to work at the optimum level. It needs that fat. You know, it needs it to stabilize your sugar. You need it to give you energy. You need it to help your brain work better. That fat is one of the most important things that we could do for ourselves. And they told us, don't eat the fat. Eat very little of it. Well, no wonder we were struggling. We didn't have the fuel to give us the energy. We didn't even have the fuel to feed our brain so we can make our own decision and figure it out. You know, everybody was saying it. The food pyramid, you know, nobody went against that. And we believed it. We believed it 100%. So we kept eating the bigger, larger amounts of all the other food and reduced our fat down to almost nothing. No, that was a losing battle. Right from the beginning, that was a losing battle. And that makes us what we are today. It wasn't all our fault, folks. It's the lie that was told to us. Many lies. And then number 2 is that they told us to fill up on whole grains. Well, I could tell you one thing. If you ever read that Wheat Belly book by Dr. Davis, he goes into it at great length about grains and how they're nothing like they were back when our ancestors ate them. They don't look nothing like them. They don't have the health benefits. And I don't think our ancestors ate a lot of grains either. They might have had a little, but not like what they're trying to feed us. All genetically modified. That's not good for us. I can't believe that a slice of bread is going to go into my body and give me the strength that I need. I can't buy that. I can't buy that no more. That's what they were telling us to do. A good serving. What were they saying? 6 to 11 servings of grains a day. That would be the bulk of our food, right? And I can't imagine that even eating a potato would go into all my cells and would give me energy. Yeah, maybe a quick fix from the sugar, but it wasn't lasting. It wasn't the nutrients that we needed. I can't believe that anymore. I see differently now. And the more I read and learn about it, the more clearly I see it. They're telling us that that's what's making our muscles grow strong, and grains. A slice of bread. That's what you need. That's what you need. No, folks, it's not that. It's the fat is what we need. And the protein. Make our bodies stronger. Or strong. Because God knows with all the wheat and the processed food and the white flour, all of it has not made our bodies strong. It's weakened us. You know, and then we wonder why we couldn't climb out of it. You know, we didn't have the fuel to climb out of it. It wasn't our fault. And then they tried to, number 3, tried to convince us that juice and smoothies were good. You know, smoothies could have more sugar in it than an ice cream. And it would go right to your head, right to your bloodline, blood flow. I don't have all the correct terminology, folks, but I do see it clearly. I really do. I see it clearly. It's taken me almost 68 years to see it clearly, and I'm getting... It's a clear vision I'm having. This is, we've been tricked into eating all the unhealthy foods. You know, orange juice has so much sugar in it. Of course it's going to spike your blood sugar. And once your blood sugar is spiked, folks, that's it. You're ready to eat some more. The trick is to keep that blood sugar down. That's what's killing us. The fruits. I know some people can tolerate it. You know, it's not one size fits all, and I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say, for me, the sugar is killing me. And I know there's a lot of you out there that feel the same way. And I'm not trying to run down any diets. I'm trying to talk for the people that do get bad effects and have ended up with diabetes or heart disease or all the other things that could happen. I didn't turn my phone on. I can't see the time that well. Sorry, folks. I don't want to go too far because I got to get back. I got to slow down a little too. I feel good today. I got a good night's sleep. And thank you to those people that recommended that glycinate or the magnesium. I think it's working. So the juice and the smoothies, I hate to say it, but it's not a health food. It's part of all the other bad things that they try to convince us to have. And then number 4, they were telling us, well, you gotta eat less and you gotta move more. Well, it's pretty hard to get out there and move if you don't have the fuel to give you the energy to do it. So here you are, eating less. I've done it too all my life, eating less and thinking I'm going to have energy, pushing myself, having no energy, just a short little spike with the sugar, but that It's not sustainable. It doesn't last. Eat less so we make our plates that much smaller. Our body's crying out, feed me, give me some nutrients, please. And we didn't know it because we believed in everything we were told. I think I'm going all right at a good pace. I'm breathing a little heavy. And so that eating less and moving more, I mean, that's almost a joke, folks. It's not something that's gonna last. Your muscles, everything. It's not enough. That sugar spike is just not enough. And then we have the lie that moderation is the key. So that means you could eat anything that rises your blood sugar levels, just as long as you eat it in moderation. Yeah, tell that to an alcoholic. They could have just one drink. You know, they deliberately addicted us to this food, and then they're telling us just eat it in moderation. Well, you went and designed the food so that we'd become addicted to it. So yeah, you want us just have that first bite, because we're going to go back for more. And we did, all the time. And it's our fault then, you know, that we don't have self-control, willpower. I think I have to go back, folks. Black flies are out here today too. So the moderation wasn't the key either. Not for a lot of us. Maybe for some. It's not one size fits all. You know, number 6, they said that low calories means healthy. So it's okay to get a treat as long as it's 100 calories. Oh, that's great. At least it ain't 300. But what's in that 100 calories? You know, there's a lot of sugar in there. It's not just the calories, folks. It's not. You know, you spend, and I've done it too, counting my calories. It's not the calories, it's the food that you're eating. And now even with the keto diet, you know, all this food that they have out there, you know, they tempt you with it, but I don't think those keto snacks are good. It's just another selling point for them. You know, let's see if we can fool them this way. No, it's not. And then it still keeps you wanting to eat your snacks if you're used to having the keto snacks. I mean, I've done it too, and I'm not even going to say I never do anything, because my little chicharrones, they are like a snack for me, and I do eat a few of those every now and then, and I do have that need to want to eat something. But the keto snacks, I don't go for them. They got a long list of ingredients too, and it's all a gimmick. We got to learn not to always want to eat something. If we get enough fat and enough protein, nutrients into our system with our meals, we won't reach for those snacks. We won't want those snacks. Even the chicharrones, I don't reach for them often. Boy, I have 2 deer flies right sitting on top of my phone. If you see a fly, they're bad, and they're bigger than the black flies. They want to get some information on dieting. They're pretty fat. Oh my goodness. And now this one, I have to mention this one because this is number 7. And that is that diet soda helps you lose weight. And I'm cutting down on my diet soda because I know it's not good. The aspartame is no good. And I've been doing well, replacing it with unsweetened tea. But I gotta tell you, on those days that I'm exhausted, I have had a glass of soda. And I gotta get better at that. I'm not perfect on any of this, folks, but I'm learning and I'm trying. And that's all we could do. We can't snap our fingers and all of a sudden be perfect. It's a slow process. It's a learning process. But I think it can be done, and there's gonna come a time I won't have that soda. Good morning. I like your doggies.
Oh, thank you. They're afraid of everything, if you can't tell.
Oh, they look so tough. Anyway, folks, the diet soda is garbage. All those diet drinks, they put aspartame in it. It's garbage. It's not helpful. That aspartame can trigger your body to think that you just ingested real sugar and spike your sugar. You know, that's exactly what we're trying to get rid of. And I hope to one day not need that. Now that I think I'm sleeping better, maybe, you know, I won't have to reach for that. No. And every time I did it, in the last couple of weeks, I felt, and you don't need this, but then I'm so tired, I don't think I can function. You know, it's all in my head, probably. Well, it's the caffeine that gives me the kick. We're addicted to that, too. Number 8. Just eat a salad. Yeah, the salad, that's gonna make you grow up and be a strong, healthy person. That's what our muscles need, salad. Yeah, and they tell us eliminate, don't use much of that dressing though. You know, get the low-fat dressing. Can you imagine how a salad could build muscle? Can you just imagine that? I can't anymore. I used to be able to think, oh, it's wonderful. And people do well on it. I'm not saying everybody. They do well on it. I don't understand it, folks. You know, there's a lot of questions on both sides, and I know there's a lot of controversy on both sides. All I know is that the amount of people that are succeeding on this low-fat, keto, carnivore, lion diet is just unbelievable. The people that are succeeding, and they're getting strong, and they talk about having a life again, and looking good, and feeling good, and enjoying things that they used to. And you know, they're not craving these foods that we think we need, that we were taught to think was the right thing to have. Number 9 is cholesterol is dangerous. And you know, everybody's got their own issues. And there might be people out there that are in a condition right now that it could be dangerous. But they're starting to prove that that is not the case, for most people. We need it. Our bodies need it. And I can vouch for it because the fat is making me feel better. I can't go against that. I've said it before. I can't go against what my body is telling me right now. I can't go back to sitting in my chair, barely able to walk, raising my blood sugar levels until they're really out of control. I can't do that. And that's what they've been telling us to do for decades, since the early 1970s. We didn't know how good we could feel. Just like they say, they put that Clorox in city water. And that, I heard that is made so that they dumb us down. So that we're not smart enough to think for ourselves. Because if we think for ourselves, we're going to go against what they're trying to throw at us. Now that might be just nonsense, but I don't like drinking that stuff. I like spring water, natural water. I get some natural water from up on the mountain when I'm at my camp. But when I'm in the city, I drink the chlorinated water. You know, you kind of have a choice. Do you want to have the chlorinated water, or God knows what else is in that water that you don't want to, you know, you could put a spin on it each way. But the cholesterol, you know, so many have been eating this way and they're doing well and they're not suffering from the things they told us we would. I mean, look at all the people that went with the diet the way they taught us. And they're still, it's us. We're the ones that went on that diet for years thinking we were doing the right thing. And look at most of us. Look at the health issues we're having. If that diet was so good, why would we be where we are right now? Why would there be such an epidemic of sickness out there and people dying from these diseases? Why? If that diet was so good. And you know, they've been getting all this, learning more that they weren't right, but do you think they would change it around? They're keeping it as the same. The hospitals, everything are feeding the garbage to people. My friend that had a stroke and was in a rehab center. His blood sugar was high, above 500, and they would bring him carbs for dinner. It was unbelievable what they were doing. And I'm sure that happens out there in most places. And I got to tell you, I was very sad because I talked to a neighbor yesterday, and you know, they don't know about my channel, but I was telling her that I'm cutting down on my carbs. You know, the carbs are not good for me. I didn't want to preach or nothing, but I just wanted to tell her. I can't help it now. It's all I think about. All I breathe about. It's because I'm with this channel too, and it's always on my mind, folks. And I read your comments, and some of your comments make me so sad, but some of your comments make me so happy. I do. I'm so happy when I read some of your comments, how well you're doing. But anyway, this neighbor, folks, she said to me, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that." She said, "I go to the food bank and all they give me are carbs." And I just sat there and looked at her. Yeah, it was an eye-opener for me, folks. You know, that's all she could get, carbs. You know, she didn't have the money to go out and buy much food at all. And you know, I think that goes on after seeing what happened to my friend. I think that's what happens in the hospitals and everything. They're just trying to feed us. It doesn't matter if it's garbage. It doesn't matter if our sugar is sky high. Yeah, they do. I know when I used to work in the jail, they had a diet for the diabetics. But quite honestly, I don't think there was much of a change from the regular diet, even when I delivered meals. to the elderly. There wasn't much of a change. They didn't totally eliminate the carbs. But, so that's what's going on. And some people, you know, I know that you're having a hard time. I just don't know how to be able to handle that. I don't know what you would be able to do. You know, they got you by the neck. I don't know, maybe, you know, canned food is not all that good, but if they were to serve more, even canned tuna or, you know, sardines and things like that, if they could serve more of that. But I just don't know, folks, and I feel so bad for you that are in that predicament. It's a shame. It's a crying shame. You know, and the next time anyone looks down on somebody that's got problems, they need to think about that. Well, I know it's not any of you guys, because you guys are all on the same page. We all relate. But I know there's people out there that could be mean and nasty. You know, they don't know what a person is going through. And that actually was number 10. You know, I feel for you people that are not able to do it quite as easily. I mean, even a lot of us, you know, the meats in the supermarket, they're so expensive nowadays. I know we're struggling. But we're reducing the amount of garbage we're buying. And that's how I justify it. I would spend a lot of money on garbage through the years. So anyway, folks, I can't even see what the time is because I didn't turn the light up. So I think it's getting close. So I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you all again for being here. Thank you for subscribing and liking and everything. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy we're all together, and we're going to go places, folks. I love y'all. Bye.